Good evening. My name is Ellie Hassama, and I'm the new Dean of the Faculty of Music at the University of Toronto. It has been an incredible week with our Fall 2021 Stratton Visitor event. Tonight is the third and last masterclass, which focuses on pants rolls. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Named for a great collector of vocal music and historical recorded sound, the John R. Stratton Visitor in Music brings distinguished specialists in the field of voice, opera, and collaborative piano to the Faculty of Music. We are so grateful to Stephen Clark, trustee of the Stratton Estate, for his generous support of the Faculty of Music. I'd also like to thank Rachel Kerr, pianist, for her wonderful work, and Lorna McDonald for everything she's done to organize this year's event, which has been spectacular. I would like to thank again the incredible staff of the Faculty of Music who have worked so very hard to bring students and faculty back to the joyful conditions of music making. This year, we're honored to welcome the acclaimed mezzo-soprano Susan Graham. It's been a highlight of my year to experience her amazing teaching in this trio of master classes and also to meet her adorable puppy, whom I'm hoping we'll see again tonight, and hope it doesn't eat more of your scarves. And I wanted to add, Susan, I love your focus on text and meaning. As a former English major at the University of Chicago, so it is, I think, more about more than just technique and vocal production, but you really bring home the importance of thinking so closely about the poetry and inhabiting the character. Susan Graham rose to the highest echelon of international performers within just a few years of her professional debut, mastering an astonishing range of repertoire and genres along the way. Her operatic roles spanned 4 centuries, from Monteverdi to Mozart to Strauss and Jake Heggie. She sang the leading ladies in the Metropolitan Opera. Lost my place. My glasses on. She sang the leading ladies in the Metropolitan Opera's world premieres of John Harbison's The Great Gatsby and Tobias Picker's An American Tragedy, and made her musical theater debut in Roger and Hammerstein's The King and I. In concert, she makes regular appearances with the world's foremost orchestras, often in French repertoire, while her distinguished discography comprises a wealth of opera, orchestral, and solo recordings. Among her numerous honors are a Grammy Award, an Opera News Award, and Musical America's Vocalist of the Year. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Susan Graham as the John R. Stratton Visitor in Music.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dean Hassama. That's very, very kind of you. I'm glad that you, as a fellow linguist, appreciate the emphasis on text. It's sort of what sets us apart from everybody else, isn't it? We actually get to sing words. And Ruby appreciates your little shout out. Here, you wanted to see her. Here she is. Oops, gotta chase her. Yeah. She was playing with this toy, so she's running around like crazy. Hopefully she'll stick to the toy and not all of my clothes and shoes. But, you know, as my daily disclaimer, sometimes I have to stop in the middle of something to pull something dangerous out of her mouth, whether it's, you know, a shoe or an expensive scarf. Anyway, I just want to, before we get started, I just want to reiterate how much fun I've had this week. It's been so illuminating. You know, I've gotten to see such a wonderful collection of your fabulous students. And they're all so uniquely gifted, but all of them are willing to, try the new crazy things that I ask of them. And I think we've all had a really good, fulfilling time this week. So thank you very much. And tonight will be no different, I know. So without further yammering on by me, let's begin with Alessia Vitale and Rachel. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, and you? Oh,
Just fine.
my mask is getting caught everywhere.
I get that.
So yes, my name's Alessia Vitale, and today we will be performing, or tonight I should say, Tu fosti tradito from La Clemenza di Tito by Mozart.
Very good. Now, what's your character's name and who is he?
Yeah, so his name is Annio, and he's pretty young. He's a young patrician in ancient Rome, and he is now begging the Emperor Tito, who is actually a close friend of him and Sesto, his best friend. He wants him to be merciful and not kill his best friend who betrayed him and tried to kill him. Oh, I can't hear her.
I'm so sorry. I was muted. Annio. So Annio is sort of the junior partner to Sesto.
Yeah.
Right. And so as the younger, less powerful one, he's putting himself out there to beg on his friend's behalf.
Yeah.
Right. So he's slightly rising above his station.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm nervous to do this. Yeah.
Right. Okay. When you're ready. Very good. Brava. That's great. It's wonderful. It's you know, I had a really good friend who sang Año about 5 years after I started singing it, and she said to me, "You didn't tell me this role was so high." Año is deceptively high because there's a lot of those A's, but it doesn't sound like it's any problem for you. In fact, my friend used to call it a frog strangler. I don't know if that's a term you have in Canada, but anyway, you seem to be negotiating those just fine. Now, so when he starts it, I want to believe that he's not afraid.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to believe that he has a mission.
Mhm.
And he knows Tito. He's like an uncle, let's say. But his earnestness is really what this is about.
Right.
And so, since this is a class on pants rolls, I'm going to ask you to do something that was asked of me when I was your age in a masterclass. I want you to take off those high heels.
Okay. I should have worn flats.
And one of the things that I always love about pants roll. Now, don't you feel better?
I do.
Yeah. One of the things that I always love about pants rolls is that you always get to wear comfortable shoes.
Right.
Or boots or sandals or whatever they are, but they very rarely have much of a heel. So the center of gravity when we're playing a male part is sort of centered around your hips and thighs. Can you kind of bounce up and down on those? Yeah. So, and then swing your arms back and forth like this. Do this for me. Loosen up, loosen up, loosen up, loosen up. Can you bend all the way over?
Yeah.
And then roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Move your head around. Da, 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 da. All around. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Good. Now take one arm and swing it around like this. And then the other one. And then the other direction. Back to front. Yep. Now the other one. All right. Now this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Good. Now, because male characters in opera have a different physical language than most of the female characters we play in opera. So I want you to feel that low center of gravity. Feel those thighs, hips. Loosen up your hands. We don't want to be stiff. He is a patrician, yes, but in this moment, he's just begging for something that he really wants to accomplish, yeah? So when you start, obviously Mozart has written this as one nobleman talking to another. Right? It starts out with that kind of, it's a very noble opening statement. And I want you to do it with confidence. Tu fosti tradito e degno di morte, because this you're spelling it out right now. Excuse me 1 second. You're spelling it out in very square terms. Later on, you get to round it out and embellish it, all of these words, because you're going to say them a million times. But I'm going to lay down what I want to say from the beginning. And it's with energy, with support, and with vowels in primary colors. Tu fosti tradito e degno di morte. And then you get to round out ma il core di Tito, right? So give me the opening statement. Plant your feet. You're a patrician, you're a nobleman. You can stand up. You might even feel better angling slightly. Because when we're on stage in opera, we usually don't stand straight on. usually there's some, because there's more interest in an angle. Okay, so maybe you want to, yeah. So go ahead and start, Rachel, and do just the first two phrases. You're strong. Hang on a second. Okay, let's go back. Hang on. Very good. Let's go back and talk about, what does that mean? What does that mean that you just said? Tu fosti tradito.
You have been betrayed.
Yes. E degno di morte.
He's worthy of death.
So you're saying, I agree with you.
Yeah.
He deserves to die.
Yeah.
But, ma, il cuore di Tito.
But because of your heart, we still have hope.
Pur lascia sperar. Yes, and that's the rounder.
Right.
That's the rounder phrase. So I want you to change color there. Tu fosti tradito e degno di morte, ma il cuore di Tito mi lascia sperar. Yeah?
Okay.
Soften that color a little bit when you go into that one. Okay? Start again for me, please. Hang on a second. I want to see a stronger stance.
Okay.
And you can even use your arms. You don't have to hold them down to your sides. Maybe a patrician stance would be with one arm up, or, tu fosti tradito, whatever feels natural to, whatever feels real to you. Because very rarely do we just stand with our arms at our sides and speak.
Right.
Nor also rarely do we speak like this, which is what opera singers tend to do when they sing.
Yeah.
But find what's natural. Tu fosti tradito e degno di morte. I know this. Ma il cuore di Tito. Okay. Often. Excellent. Keep going. Okay, hang on a second. So now we've changed gears. De prende consiglio. What does that mean?
Take counsel.
Signor dal tuo cuore.
Yeah. So, emperor from your heart.
Yes. So listen to your heart, basically you're saying, because he doesn't want to kill Tito.
Yeah.
So when you sing de prende consiglio, that needs to be as beautiful a vowel as you can make. Usually isn't our most beautiful vowel. So see if you can find a little rounder thing. It's an ah with an e.
Right.
Go through the vowels on that note and tell me which one feels more comfortable to you. Just A-I-E.
Would probably feel
Think of an in between those two, like a UH, because what I'm trying to get away from is is no fun for anybody. So I'm just asking you to modify that vowel a tiny bit, and you're sitting on it, and you need to let it grow into the moving note. Every time you have a long note in Mozart, it always has to grow to the moving note, because he's done that on purpose. And that, because you want that to be as friendly a tone as as possible, because you're trying to seduce him to do what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, good. 2 bars, please, Rachel. Prendi. Nor. Hang on a second. So dolore is one of those words that you can't ever just let go by. Il nostro what? Dolore. Il nostro, our shared sadness. See, he's getting him on his side. Il nostro dolore. I just doubled the L. Don't do that. But give me a lot of D at the beginning of dolore, okay?
Okay.
And ti degna mirar. Basically, I want you to find the words that are important and give them a little extra juice.
Okay.
Il nostro dolore. And then he gives it to you. He does it for you there. And then you say it again with another character. You say it 3 times in a row with 3 different characters. So figure out for you what those 3 different things are.
Right.
Yeah. The first one might be admitting that we have it, admitting that we have this dolore. And then the second one is this one, the pain of it. And then that is the one that sort of marches to the inevitable of a high A flat.
Yes.
You know, or Sesto's death.
Yeah.
One of those. Okay, so start for me again at Il nos, that one. Yeah, start that one. Il no, and grow through that vowel. Nostro. Hang on a second. No. You said nostra. I want a nice big space back here. Oh, do that for me. Oh, with space. Make the space. Take in the breath through the space. Oh. Do it again. That's it. That's it. That opened up a whole space that you didn't have before. Excuse me. Il no. Now just sing il no. Yes. That's the G I want to hear.
Okay.
Good. Now, do you know how that, did you see how that felt?
Yeah.
The top popped open. Now you're keeping that space all the way down the scale. Even when you're going lower. I'll make myself cough when I try to sing those notes. And also the same thing is going to happen when you, I mean, every time the same thing's going to happen when you go back up to the A flat, and then the next phrase, you've got that G again. So remember that space and keep that roundness in there. Okay. Start again. Il nostro dolore. Now climb. Hang on, you let the L choke you.
Yeah.
Don't say an L. No, my tongue is doing no more than that. Tip of the tongue. It's not even hardly touching anything. But what's important is that you create the space as you go up.
Yeah.
And I want the space to come back this way. I see you standing a little bit like this when you're singing. You seem to be leaning forward a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of down.
You're singing to me in the monitor. I understand that. Il nostro dolore. It has to go this direction as you ascend. Just start that phrase.
Il nostro dolore.
Good. Keep going. Keep that space. Good. So why do you embellish morte there?
Because I think I realize, like, I think he realizes that it's death, like, for real.
And it's shocking and so sad. Good. Now, before we go to morte, that was great. That was great. You found that place. It makes a lot of difference.
Okay.
It makes us suddenly believe him.
Okay.
Don't ask me why, but it does. Now, and then suddenly it hits him. It wouldn't be bad for you to sing that very softly, sort of a subito piano. Oh no, this could really happen. Yeah. Do the tofosti right before that. Tofosti.
Oh, she played it, yeah.
Now I want you to keep the space of that O in there. Don't clap down just because you're moving the note. You have the space beautifully. No. You said Daniel. Find the space. Good. Good. No, you did it, don't you? You caught it. Good. Good girl. Good girl. My caw. Now, where do we say a K sound? On the soft palate, the tongue and the soft palate. So what's going to happen is that space is going to be there and you're going to go core. The tongue is just ever so slightly hitting the back of the soft palate, but the space stays up. The space doesn't come down to hit the K sound. It stays up and my core. Okay. It's easy as pie. I shouldn't have even said that much about it. But what I'm saying is keep the space. Keep the space. Yes. Hold on a second, we gotta fix that because you have a little note discrepancy. Yeah, do it slowly. Yeah, you gotta come down a little farther for the A. Do it again. Good. Good. Now do the same thing like core di tito, core. Now, do you know what I mean by as you're growing and crescendoing, you're making the space for that A, even while you're still on the C. Just do that part again. Yeah, you're gonna have to do. Good. 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 And I want that to be the most beautiful sound you can make with lots of space up there. The only reason I can do that is because there's a ton of space up there. Yeah. And I don't, whatever vowel you need to make it round and beautiful. Okay. Dal tuo to start there. Good. Bass. Good, good, good. Thank you for discovering that space in there. That makes a lot of difference, because this is, otherwise it just sounds like, you know, we're sort of leaping up at A's. But if you incorporate them into exactly what came before it, then it becomes organic and it becomes part of the line. And it's so, it becomes a true expression of his desperation, his nobility, and his desire to save his friend.
Right.
Okay. Excellent work. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Rachel. Now we have Nathania, Rose Chen.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, my name is Nathania Rose Chan.
Good.
And this evening we will be performing Non so più from The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart.
Tell us about who this character is, please.
All right. So Carabino is a extremely hormonally distressed teenage boy.
Very well said.
Loves women, any kind of women, every kind of women, anytime. And
Right. How old do you think he is?
like 13 to 15.
Yeah, I always thought about him as about 14. So that fits in there just perfectly, doesn't it? Do you know what's happening in this scene? Do you know what's happened up until now? What makes him sing this aria?
Yes, so he just got into a situation with the Count because he was canoodling with Barbarina, and the Count has dismissed him. And so now he is conferring with Susanna, the Countess's maid, and saying that he needs the Countess on his side so that he can stay. And if he can stay, then he can like get to know Susanna better. That's how he's playing it off. Really, his end goal is the Countess or any woman.
Yes, the Countess or anyone. Exactly.
Or anyone.
Good. So his state of mind right now is
Desperation.
And because he's a 14-year-old hormonally charged, he's sort of always in a state of agitation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. So I want to see your center of gravity, as we talked about before, sort of hips, thighs.
Should I take off my shoes?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Cute
I
boots.
was contemplating just coming up here without shoes, but I thought I'd wait. All right, I'll place them next.
Good. Now, how does a 13-year-old boy stand?
This 13-year-old boy would stand like this, probably.
Well, he's wound up. He can't even be still.
Yeah. So he wouldn't be standing quite still.
He'd be you know, rubbing his thighs, rubbing his legs, kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Non so più cosa, I don't understand. What is it? What does it mean? What he says in the opening? Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. What does that mean?
I don't know what I am, what I do.
Yes. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Or di fuoco, ora sono di ghiaccio.
I'm of fire and him of ice.
Yeah. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Oh no, ogni donna. What is it first? Yes.
Every woman makes me change color.
Which means like blush, yeah?
Yeah. Every woman makes me palpitate.
Yes. Yes. Solo ai nomi d'amore di diletto.
Yeah, I only am talking about love and delight.
Mi si turba, mi saltera il petto.
I'm like turbulent. My heart is jumping out my chest, basically.
Right. E a parlare mi sforza d'amore.
And e a parlare mi sforza d'amore. It forces me to talk of love. It just happens to me. I don't choose.
Un desio che io non posso spiegare.
A desire I cannot explain.
Exactly. So he changes on a dime, right? He's got boundless energy. So get your palpitations going and let's do this.
Okay. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Or di fuoco la sonno di ghiaccio. Ogni donna cantar di colore. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Solo i nomi d'amor di diletto. Mi si turba, mi salta il petto. E a parlare mi sforza d'amore. Un desio che non posso spiegar. Un desio che non posso spiegar. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Or di fuoco la sonno di ghiaccio. Ogni donna cantar di colore. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar.
Okay, hang on a second. Great. I love the energy. Now, I think you're playing him like a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
Because you're doing those gestures that are normal for you.
Okay.
One of the things that we like to talk about in pants rolls is the air between the elbow and the ribs.
Okay.
When you're, because if you do elbows close in, then it feminizes him.
Okay.
Boys, this is a kid who jumps out of windows to get away from people. He hides under the furniture. He disguises himself. He'll do anything. So give me a little more elasticity in your knees.
Okay.
And if you're going to make a gesture, it has to mean something. I understand petto. I understand, I don't know what's going on. But if you're going to do that, it has to be this and not this. Do you understand? If you're going to do a gesture, commit to it.
Okay.
Okay? And sometimes it's okay to just stand there and go, non so più, cosa son, cosa faccio. That's an option too, as long as there's energy inside of it. Good. Try it again and give me more elastic in your knees. Swing around a little bit. Yeah. Can you in those pants, can you kick your leg up? Can you give me a poof? Do that a couple times. Loosen up those hips. Yeah. Swing your arms around. Right. Do you have any brothers or nephews or anything like that?
No. My inspiration for this was the boys that I used to camp counsel.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. So, they're kind of at that age, they're sort of not in control of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he'll start out saying one thing and then suddenly something else is coming out of his mouth and he doesn't know where it came from. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Ora di fuoco, ora di solo ghiaccio. I don't plan it.
Yeah.
He sort of takes himself by surprise. So, okay, yeah. So just get nice and loose.
Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Or di fuoco la sonno di ghiaccio. Ogni donna cantar di colore.
Ooh, this is good.
Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Solo i nomi
Good. Joy, joy, joy. Nothing. Good, 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 good. Hang on a second. I'm going to give you a little trick somebody gave me a long time ago. First of all, arms open wide doesn't really mean anything.
Okay.
I know we feel it sometimes, but it reads kind of, I don't know what else to do with my hands. So, ogni donna, ogni donna, ogni donna, her, you, hit, that one, this one, the other one. Ogni donna, ogni donna, ogni donna, ogni donna, ogni donna. Anything but that. And now, so he's given you a great gift. Un desio. Un desio. You know, you can play with that as if it were a kind of moan. Un desio. Un desio. Ooh la la. Just to throw in for flavor. Good. Will you start? Let's start. E a parlare mi sforza d'amore. And d'amore is one of those words that you want to just taste. D'amore. And then un desio comes. Un desio. A lot of D in desio and a lot of in un.
Okay.
Good. No. More. I want more d'amore. D'amore. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Even more. Now soft. Good. Straight torso. Hang on a second. Parlo d'amor sognando means?
When I'm sleeping.
And vegliando means?
When I'm awake.
Yes, and I did them backwards. Parlo d'amor vegliando. You say it when I'm awake, and parlo d'amor sognando, even when I'm asleep. I want to hear great contrast between those two phrases. Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando.
Okay.
And you know, the whole thing makes him very happy. It's very happy. This is a happy confusion. Yeah? So start there. You can give me the, yes. Hang on a second. This is another opportunity. If you're going to connect them, one loud, one soft.
Okay.
Good. Hang on a second. What? Hang on. You let this come into it. I need to get you in a mindset where it's not even possible to make these kinds of gestures. You know, let's think of him. Okay, pretend because you seem to be a petite person. which is adorable for Cherubino because he wants to picture himself as Don Giovanni.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can find a little put on swagger. Let's see if he thinks he's the strongest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can just kind of, maybe he's pretending, but maybe he just really believes that he's worth it. Yes, all these things are happening. And yes, those women should be so lucky. They should be so lucky to have me. Yeah. Can you go back to the recap? Cosa son, cosa faccio? And that's after you've just done so when you start that, go start it un desio che non può un desio che non posso spiegar. And then when you start non so più this time, you're a foot and a half taller.
Okay.
And you're 7 years older. Okay. And a lot more experienced. Okay. Good. Yeah. Good. Seduce us. Seduce us. Point. Yes. And that. Wait, 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 wait. And then. Hang on a second. Tell me what this means.
And if no one wants to talk about it with me.
Right.
And then he says, I'll talk about it with myself.
Right. I don't think no needs to be imbued with that soft gesture that you did. You went, no. Let's let him be strong here.
Okay.
Because it would never occur to him until this moment that somebody might not listen to me. What would that be like? Ese, no, Kimura. What? Ese, no, Kimura. Parla d'amor. Okay, so he's the kid who's just gotten the cold water thrown in his face. Okay. Good. What comes right before that? Portano via con sé. Good, just do. Hang on a second. I want to see you full of the confidence and portano via con sé. So then we have a contrast for
okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. see a little bit more physicality. I'm going to make you do the last half of the aria again. Actually, I'm going to make you start it again. And I want you to, Cecilia, can you pull the camera back? Thank you. And I want to see you, Nathania, walking all around the stage, around the back of the piano. Don't spend too much time back there because I can't see you very well. But behind Rachel, the end of the piano, I want you to walk around. I want you to run when you feel like it. I want you to tell me what the energy is of each moment. Because if there's one thing Carabino isn't, it's rooted in one spot. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do it again. Start it again.
Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio. Or di fuoco non son, o di ghiaccio. Ogni donna cantar di colore, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Solo in nome d'amor diletto, mi sento
Strong.
e a parlare mi sforzo d'amore. Un desio che non posso spiegare, un desio che non posso spiegare.
Hey, hang on a second. Really good. Very good. Very good. One thing that boys don't usually do is stand with their feet together.
Okay.
Exactly. Good. Un desio. No, start it solo ai nomi d'amore di diletto, and don't ever let your ankles touch.
Solo ai nomi d'amor diletto,
Move.
urlo mi salta il petto, e a parlare mi sforzo d'amore. Un desio che non posso spiegare, un desio che non posso spiegare. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio, or di fuoco non son, o di ghiaccio. Ogni donna cantar di colore, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar.
Yes.
Ogni donna mi fa palpitar.
Good.
Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando, all'acqua l'ombra ai monti, ai fiori, all'erba ai fonti, alle quell'aria ai venti. E son dei vagni
Those knees apart.
portano via con sé, portano via con sé. Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando,
Good.
all'acqua l'ombra
Those knees.
ai fiori.
You're kneeling like this with your knees together, like a Girl Scout.
No.
Start right there. Yes. I know it feels weird, but you have to do it.
Doing the splits.
Just about. And you know, vary the speed of your movement. Sometimes, and he very rarely walks like this. You know, your feet were doing this at one point. He has flat feet. He walks like a boy. Don't be graceful. Good.
Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando.
Yes.
All'acqua all'ombra, ai monti ai fiori, alle erbe, ai fonti, all'acqua all'aria ai venti. E son dei vagni accenti, portano via con sé, portano via con sé. E se non ho chi moda,
Good.
e se non ho chi moda,
Oh no, what will I do?
parlo d'amor con me, con me. Parlo d'amor con me.
Good. Good. You found it. You found when you were strutting around doing the splits. You know what else you did? You did a little leading with the pelvis, which is what Carabino always does.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Now just take that and go farther with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can, you can find places where the phrases are long and places where the phrases are short. And that also indicates a change of energy and a change of direction in what he's doing. Because sometimes Mozart writes a really long phrase and then he sometimes writes all'obra, ai fiori, all'erbe. He shortens the phrases in order to let us know that Carabino is A, breathless, and B, all over the place.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm just great. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm Lissy, and Rachel and I will be performing Que fais-tu, Blanche Tourterelle from Gounod's Romeo et Juliette.
And who are you and what are you about in this aria?
So, I am Stefano, who is Romeo's very loyal young page. And Romeo and Juliet, I don't believe I know that they're off getting married, but I'm wondering where he is, and I'm sort of asking if he's with the Capulets, and I'm sort of taunting him. And it's a very playful aria, yet he's like, where? Well, I guess he knows where he is, doesn't he? Anyways.
Up to you. Hang on one sec.
So
Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dog maintenance. Good. So he's a mischief maker.
Yeah.
He is stirring it up. And what ends up happening right after this?
Yeah, Romeo kills Tybalt, so that's not.
Yeah. That's really
it a little. He raises the tensions.
yes,
Quite
the
high.
stakes suddenly become very high. I will say that early in my career, I sang this role in Seattle. And during this scene, I had to sword fight with a kielbasa sausage as my weapon.
That's part of the staging?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have to do that.
And somebody whacked it and half of it ended up in the pit. That was fun.
No.
Okay, good. So will you do me a favor? And the beginning is kind of recitative, yeah?
Yes.
So can you do me a favor and just sort of speak the recitative?
Depuis hier, je cherche en vain mon maître. Est-il encore chez vous, mes seigneurs Capulet? Voyons un peu si votre digne valet, à me voir ce matin, en zéron reparaître.
Right. So the whole thing is yeah, est-il encore chez vous, mes seigneurs Capulet? And I think, he has great disdain for them. So anytime you get to sort of jab, you're parrying with your imaginary kielbasa. Yeah. Or a sword. Let's also say a sword, but mainly with your words right now. So let us know that he has an ulterior motive.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Depuis hier, je cherche en vain mon maître. Est-il encore chez vous, mes seigneurs Capulets? Voyons un peu si votre digne valet, à me voir ce matin, en zéro reparaître.
Hang on a second. Beautiful. So this is a serenade, a taunting serenade, yeah?
Oui.
So try to let me know that it's not, that you're not as sweet as you're sounding.
Okay.
And as we were talking before, be aware of when the hands just do this for no reason.
Yeah.
Either find a stance,
Can I take
or
my sleeve off too?
you can if you want. Go for it. We should have put that as one of the prerequisites for this class. Don't wear shoes. Excellent, excellent. Good. So now you're rooted to the ground. You're connected. The balcony's up there. Que fais-tu, Blanche? Who's the Blanche Tourterelle?
Juliet.
Right. What are you doing? Que fais-tu, Blanche Tourterelle? Or no, Romeo is the Blanche Tourterelle because he danse un nid de vautour.
Oh yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I passed eventually. Yeah. So he sees Romeo as being thrown to the wolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's not a soft, sweet song. So give us a little more acid.
Okay.
From the beginning. Also in the text, que fais-tu, Blanche Tourterelle, dans ce nid de vautour?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 2 bars, please, Rachel. Hang on. Hey, what's happening? What's this?
I don't know. What is that? I don't know.
I understand. So you're talking about vautour, you're talking about le bec, you're talking about les ailes. I saw a little beginning of a thought about les ailes.
Yeah, I was floating away.
Yeah.
Deploying my wings.
Tu suivras les amours is not a really great thing in this case. Vautour, il faut la bataille. You know, now you have to inform him about what kind of trouble he's about to get in. These people are awful. Il faut la bataille pour frapper des stocks et des tailles. It's very violent.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear those angles, and I want to hear that those accents.
Okay.
Put accents on those words, because this is a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go back to quelques jours déployant ton aile, tu suivras les amours, and then turn it on its head. Oh, vautour, il faut la bataille, because very military at that point.
Okay.
Okay. So quelques jours déployant ton aile.
Quelques jours déployant ton aile, tu suivras les amours. Autour il faut la bataille, pour frapper des stocks et des tailles. Leurs becs sont aiguisés. Laissez-la ces oiseaux de proie, tourterelle qui fait ta joie, des amoureux baisers.
Now, because you're flirting, like because you're sort of making fun of him, des amoureux baisers. Give us a lot of flavor on those words.
Okay. From there?
Laissez-là ces oiseaux de proie, tourterelle qui fait la joie. Yeah, man, you're going to get in trouble. This is all going to go wrong. But, you know, he's making fun of him. But you have to have your little kisses, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Laissez-la. And here's a challenge for you. Don't ever show me your palm.
Okay, got it. You will never see it again.
Okay. That's just a challenge. It's just to make you aware of what your hands are doing.
Yeah.
Laissez-la. Very good. I'm going to tell you something else that we try to avoid in pants rolls. Hips that go like this. Yes, exactly that thing.
Yes, the hands.
Exactly that thing. I wish you had pockets to put your hands in.
I do. It's called-
Use them, baby.
Okay.
But you can't stand like that.
I am a man.
I am a man. It's like we were talking a minute ago with Nathania. The knees are always this far apart. The feet are always this far apart.
Yeah.
You can turn it an angle. You can put one foot in front of the other. You can lean forward a little bit to get your point across.
Okay.
I wouldn't put my hands in my pockets too much, because even when guys do that, it makes me think that they're not taking the moment seriously.
Mm.
But if you want to just when you're in a mocking moment, put one hand in and say, yeah. Okay. Start for me. Do again. Laissez-la ces oiseaux de poire. Now walk around. Walk.
Walking around, sorry.
Yeah. Walk around on this. Garde bien. Good. Now keep going. Keep moving. Hang on a second. So I'm seeing you move the same way you were moving in the first part. This is in the first part of that phrase at un ramier. Everything changes at le voteur sont à la curée. Everything changes and everything starts to get far more serious. And I want you to find a way to find stillness in that moment, but strength. And like, I'm tired. I'm not kidding around anymore.
Okay.
Go back and start un ramier again. And par l'amour attiré, alentour de ce nid sauvage, all around that savage nest. Ah, je crois soupirer. Is he sighing at the nest of the vultures?
Stefano?
Is he? No, Romeo.
He is sighing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is driving you crazy.
Yeah.
Les vautours sont à la curée, leur chanson que fuit citerée résonne à grand bruit. This is getting very serious now. Okay, so what I'm saying is I need more storytelling. I need more words, and I want you to find the contrast in physicality between the legato part and the angry part. Good. Start again at un ramier. Hang on a second. You can find something better than you leaning on the piano to say that. I want you to come toward me when you say les vautours sont à la curée, like you're telling me that they're all a bunch of mass murderers.
Okay.
Okay? And I want it's very serious, and you put one foot in front of the other, and you lean forward on that front foot, and you can point at me and say, this is what's happening.
Okay.
Les vautours. Nah! Go back.
Did I show you my poem?
I can't do this very well here, but what I'm looking for is Les vautours sont à la curée. And what I'm doing with my feet is my feet are like this, and I'm leaning forward at an angle. Les vautours sont à la curée. I'm telling you this for the last time. I'm telling you this for your own good, you moron. Okay? Good. Hang on a second. You know, when you engage that with that thing going like this, suddenly your voice came in line. The air was so you were supporting, you were riding on the air. It was really good. And then you went back into garde bien with your hands in your pockets, and it sort of came off the air. Okay. I want to think that garde bien this time is different than garde bien the first time. Garde bien this time is, before it was garde bien, and now it's you better bloody well garde bien, or else things are going to go terribly wrong, because you've gotten very serious during this last little moment. Yes. And then this is a continuation of that. Okay. Let's see what happens. What happens right before garde bien? Oh, aux astres de la nuit.
Aux astres de la nuit.
Aux astres de la nuit.
Serious. Good. Now we have time to go back, and I want to encourage you to start it again with the mindset that I am one piece from my shoulders to my thighs. Okay? And when I move, I'm going to move as a piece. My feet are going to hit the floor flatly. My knees are going to bend. And my arms, my elbows are going to be away from my sides. So start it for me again, even the recit. And I want you to move around. Cecilia, you can pull back the camera a little bit. Yeah, get those shoes out of the way. You don't want to trip.
Lady shoes.
So here comes dun 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 dun. Is you're walking into the scene. Okay, 3 things in that recit. Where's my master? Is he still with those horrible people? Let's see if I can bring him out. Okay?
Okay.
Do it again, please. Strong feet. Yes. Ah, change. Good. Now you have a mission. Keep going. Walk around, walk around. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? I got it. Hang on a second. Why did you shrug?
I didn't mean to, but I guess I did.
Yeah, you went, Tortorella.
Oh. No.
Yeah, well,
I didn't mean to.
What I'm trying to do is get you into the mindset where that's not even possible. What does it take?
Yeah.
What does it take for you to establish the joints that don't move easily and the strength that is in the lower body?
I gotta move it. The center.
Move the energy down.
Yeah. Man.
Yes. And it's not, it's this guy, he's young, but he also is, he's part of this gang. It's like West Side Story, he's the young guy in West Side Story. So when he starts this, it's taunting.
Yeah.
But he's still sort of standing there being serious about it. Good. Can you give us 2 bars, please, Rachel? These terrible people. Oh. Good. Hang on a second. Your gesture tells me that you don't know what you're talking about. You know exactly what you're talking about. Il faut la bataille. Not il faut la bataille. You have to find the strength, the physical strength, even if he's young, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just start there. Wherever we left off. Yeah.
Oh, I said the wrong word, sorry.
Pour frapper. Good. Now get out of there. Laissez-la. Now, gardez bien. Gardez bien. Yes. Good, good. Good, Missy. We're going to have to stop, but this is really good. I want you to continue to monitor yourself because half the battle is undoing what we do naturally.
Yeah, my hips are like crazy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like that you're loose, but
I did some kicks, I'm not gonna lie.
good.
High kicks before.
I do high kicks every time I walk on stage, literally in an evening gown or pants roll or whatever. It's difficult when you have to hike up a narrow dress, but you go somewhere where nobody's looking. Anyway, important for you to be aware of your feet on the ground and your body as a straight line, not a huna. You're not a hula dancer.
No, I'm not.
And how you move your torso.
Mhm.
I mean, tangentially, you sound great. Your French is great, and your top is great, and that's really what this song is all about. So, congratulations on that. I'm sorry that I'm focusing more on physicality than I am on singing, but you know, your French is obviously, you know, you're very comfortable with that, and the mood of the piece is very good. And, you know, of course, in an audition, you're probably just going to stand there and do that. Just you stand there and sing it. However, you can always be aware of how you're using your hands.
Mhm.
You know, we want to have, this is one piece from here to here. We don't want to have girl hands. We don't want to have close to the body arms. Yeah, we don't want that. We want to be full.
It's not like this is woman, this is man.
Exactly.
You should listen.
Well, you know, there are certain truths that are truths, but you know, and of course, I'm not saying that every role we have to do is going to be like that, but by and large, we're portraying young men, boys becoming men, and there are just certain theatrical traditions that work in communicating that. Okay, good. Practice in a mirror and be as hard on yourself as I am being on you.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lissy. Thank you, Rachel. Hello.
Hi. My name
You
is
are?
Celine, and we will be performing Voi che sapete from Le Notte di Figaro, so another Carabino.
Yay, another Carabino. He's my favorite. I love your shoes. I think I've worn those shoes as Carabino.
Oh.
So you don't have to take them off.
Okay.
So what's happening in this aria, in this scene? What's his deal?
He's just come in to talk to Susanna because he's been enrolled in the army because he got caught by the Count, and yeah, so he's going to send him away where there's no women. That's kind of a joke that Figaro makes, and he's flustered and upset about this. But Susanna says, "Hey, you should sing that song that you wrote for the Countess," and the Countess is the one that he loves so much.
Yeah.
And so he listens to whatever Susanna says, so he's gonna do it. But he's like a little unsure at first, I think, and then he kind of gets more confident and like, yeah, I love you.
Exactly. He finally made it into the Countess's bedroom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's that. There's that kind of, okay. Good. When you're ready.
Okay.
Che cosa il amor
Good. So this song has, as you stated earlier, a big journey. He has a big journey through this song. So let's say he goes through 3 stages in this song. What do you think they are? He starts out.
I think nervous,
Yes.
like excited nervous.
Yes, but
Well,
very
nervous,
self-conscious. Very
pardon?
self-conscious.
Yeah, self-conscious. Then I think he gets kind of caught up in describing his own feelings.
Yeah.
Kind of looking back to Non So Più. And then by the end, I think he's just like, I'm looking at the Countess and I love her so much.
And I like to think that by that phase 3, he's in like Flynn.
Okay, yeah.
He thinks he's got it. He says, I belong here. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm losing power.
Uh-oh.
And this is, I've got it plugged in and it seems to not be charging. Please hold. Can you hold 1 second? Because I'm going to go dark here in a second if I'm not careful.
Okay.
Let's see. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Hang on 1 second. Technology is so fun, huh?
Oh, I know. We all love it even more than we used to, I think.
That's right. The challenges. At least we're all more understanding than we ever were.
Yes, yeah. It's been a year and a half of mercy, I think.
That's the truth. Did that do anything? Ay, no. I think it's my charger. Oh gosh. Okay. Hang on. I'm not going to panic. Okay, I think we have charge now. Okay. I hope so. Yes, that's what I'm playing with the charger cord to make sure that it's connected. Okay, so start again, and I want to see your physicality change in those 3 phases. And I want to see your knees be a little more elastic. I want to see your upper body show me nervousness. And, pretend he's got on a coat, a jacket. He's adjusting his sleeves. He's making sure that his flies are up and his shoes are polished. And in that, because it's a long introduction. And this is just to get you into the mindset of, I'm Carabino and I have a performance to do. Yeah. So go ahead and begin, Rachel. And I want to see all of that Celine, in the introduction. Check your shirt. Here, back. Okay, hang on a second. I want you to, that needs to be beautiful. And when you do that, space goes this way. Not vede, vede. Donne vedete. Say that for me.
Donne vedete.
Thank you. Start right there.
Donne vedete, se io non
Again. Good. Now, Mozart never writes you've even seen in the score, he even writes them in 2-note phrases. And the Italian dictates it too. We don't say donne vedete, we say donne vedete. Eh? Start there again, please. Hang on, go back. Better one. Hang on. Go back. You can get a better one. Take the breath through the space that you're going to start. This way. Do it one more time. Donne vedete. 2-note phrases. Good. Now, so, and when we start on this is a new chapter, right? Quello che io provo, vi ridirò, e per me nuovo, capir non so. So, if you don't want to get too physical with it as of yet, you can do it with your face. Quello che io provo, vi ridirò. Or you can bring your hands up and go, I don't really understand what all this means, but I wrote a poem about it, so I have to sing it to you now. Right? Let us see a change in your physicality somehow. He's starting to melt. The ice is starting to melt. Quello che io provo. Good. 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 Yes. Good. Okay, hang on a second. Say that in Italian for me. Sento un affetto pien di desir. Like you mean it.
Sento un affetto pien di desir.
Pien di what?
Pien di desir.
Yeah, pien di desir. Full of it. Wow. Yeah, so let us hear that when you sing it too, okay?
Thank you.
Yes? Hang on a second. Would Carabino go, diletto? No, he wouldn't. What would he do? Corai diletto, 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 diletto. I don't know. What would he do? Corai diletto. Maybe nothing.
I think
maybe he just steals the diletto and then corai martir. And then we've got more opposites coming up. Gelo. Poi sento l'alma vampar. Gelo means I freeze. E poi sento, and then I feel l'alma vampar. My soul is on fire. And that can be in how you color your voice. Gelo, e poi sento l'alma vampar. Yeah. Start back at where were we?
Sento un affetto.
Sento un affetto. Sento un affetto. And I need you to connect those vowels, please. And that has to happen with your breath and with this space. Sento un affetto. That space is open the entire time when I'm singing that. It doesn't close down when I make new syllables, new consonants. Sento un affetto. Bien di désir. Sento un affetto. Try that. Good. Good. Cora di letto. And then. Good. And now move into me. Move into me. And now, okay, and now here's chapter 3. We're starting chapter 3. Ricerco bene. I'm looking for something outside of myself. Non so, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but ricerco. To me, that's where he starts to allow himself to be vulnerable, much more vulnerable. Ricerco bene fuori di me. And that's the most legato, again, keeping that space the entire time and putting, daring to be vulnerable in that. Okay. Gelo e poi sento l'alma vampar. So we go, I freeze, then I'm on fire, and then in a minute I'm frozen again. So when you start, in un momento torno a gelar, in un mo, that you're already frozen again.
Right.
Okay? Gelo e poi sento l'alma vampar. Un momento torno a gelar. Okay? Gelo e poi sento. Hang on a second. Hang on. Two note phrases again. Give us those. I don't ever want to. They're never equal. Never. The language is fluid. The line is curvy. Mozart is a genius. Start there again. Now, long line. Hang on a second. How can you say non so che tiene, non so cos'è, and sospiro e gemo without using your hands? How can you say any of that? You can't. You got to show me some. He's got to come to life. You got to come to life. Okay. Start again at ricerco bene fuori di me. It's outside of me. It's out there somewhere. Ricerco bene fuori di me. Non so chi il tiene, non so cos'è. Sospiro e gemo senza voler. Palpito e tremo senza saper. Are you Italian?
No.
I thought maybe Cascanete sounded like an Italian name. Have you ever been around very many Italians?
Very many? No, a few.
Have you ever watched an Italian movie?
Yes.
Okay, very rarely do they not use their hands when they're speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying make random meaningless gestures, but I need you to feel it enough that it can't just be contained in a still body. Okay? Ricercon bene fuori di me. Relax your arms, swing them around, give me some air. Good. Ricercon bene. Bah. Go ahead. Hang on a second. This is a good one. Non trovo pace notte né di. Ma pur mi piace languir così. I act like I hate all this stuff, but I really love it. Really love it. Ma pur mi piace languir così. Take your time through that and make sure that I understand that the word languir is a feeling of ecstasy. Okay? Non trovo pace notte né di. Love it. I need to hear a lot of R in that languir così. Languir così. And what's going to come next is the seduction. At this point, you put away all insecurity and you look straight at her and you say, voi che sapete che cosa è amor, donne vedete solo nel cor, because I know I have it. There's no if about it. Donne vedete solo nel cor. Donne vedete solo nel cor. Yeah. You normally when I perform this, because I do this piece on a lot of concerts, because I'm far too old to sing Carabino anymore, but I love the arias. Sometimes you can even start walking forward in that very confident way. When the recap comes back, languir così, because it all changes. And suddenly he smiles at her and he's looking right at her. And he knows that she knows that he knows that she knows. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see how far we can go with that. That'll be fun.
Okay.
Non trovo pace notte né di.
Non trovo pace notte né di, ma pur mi piace.
I love it.
Languir così.
Now you're John Travolta. Hang on a second. Yeah. Even from the beginning, I want to see the whole body change. I love myself, and you're going to love me too. Yeah? Languir così. Who's like of your generation, who's the most seductive movie star you can think of?
Oh, gee, I don't know a lot of movie stars.
You know, did you ever see the movie Grease with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John? Did you ever see Grease?
Yes. Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
There we
Yes.
go.
Zac Efron. You suddenly become Zac Efron and that swagger, and you know that all the girls want you.
Okay.
Okay? Languir così.
Languir così.
Give it, come on.
Voi che sapete che cosa è amor, donne vedete solo nel cor, donne
Arms! add to that, when you start the recap, pianissimo.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you just start that for me again one more time? Right there on it. And the first phrase, I'm sorry, the first phrase and the very last phrase is also soft.
Yes. Okay.
Now let it go. Good, 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 good. You can play a lot with all of those different levels, and you can play, you know, like I said before to Lissy, do it in a mirror, practice in a mirror. And, you know, you got to love this character. You got to love who he is and how swaggery he can be and how vulnerable he can be and how 1 minute he's a little boy and 1 minute he's Don Giovanni. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, there's a lot to think about, and it's the most fun character ever. So I hope you get to do it a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sling. Hello.
Hi.
Are you Alex?
I am.
Good. And what are you gonna sing?
Today we brought Wie du warst from Der Rosenkavalier.
Very good. Now tell me about your character. Who are you and what are you up to in this aria?
So I'm Octavian. I am a count, but very young. And this starts the opera after the introduction, but he's had a very exciting night with the Marshallin, and they're actually in her bed together.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's very early morning. There are birds singing, and he's awake and he's kind of in a dreamlike state, but still quite stimulated.
He doesn't want the morning to really start yet, does he?
That's true.
So good. Now I am going to ask you to take off your shoes because I think every time I've ever sung this role, I was actually barefoot and bare-legged and running around the stage, just fresh out of bed. So do with that as you will. Yeah. So this starts out just post lovemaking. It is that moment before the sun comes up. We start to hear the birds, as you said, but everything is still just hazy and wonderful and endorphined and dopamine and all the hormones are raging. Do you know exactly how old he is? We find out in the second act exactly how old he is.
I don't know. I've been picturing him at 17. Is that accurate?
17 and 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah. In the presentation of the rose, Sophie says to him, 17 Jahre und 2 Monate. So 17 years and 2 months. Right. So he's 17. It's not his first rodeo, but it's by far the best one. And he feels very, very lucky. And again, even though he's 17 and he's a little bit more mature than Carabino, part of the joy of this role is that sometimes he can't help it. He becomes a little boy. You know, my stepson is 15 and sometimes he's so grown up and then sometimes he's still that little boy, you know? So 15, 16, 17, 14, 13. It's all that sort of Zwischenland of between maturity and being a kid. And that's a lot of what this aria is. It flips on a dime too. You know, 1 minute he's one thing and 1 minute he's another thing. Yeah. Okay, let's do it and see where we are. Beklagte sich über das Vergnügen, wachte das Fehl, das Wiss. Very good. Very good. Do you speak German?
Ein bisschen.
Yeah. You've done a lot of really good work on this. And Rachel, fantastic. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world to play. It's beautiful. A lot of German words, and you've really done a great job in preparing it. Have you had this a long time?
I guess about 6 months now.
That's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
It's not easy. So when we begin, it's important. Wie du warst, that alliteration. And it's, he's not half asleep, but he's just sort of, this is the cigarette smoking moment. Wie du warst, wie du bist. How you were, how you are. Nobody knows that. And this is where he gets a little full of himself. Das weiß niemand, das ahnt keiner als ich. Nobody but me knows that. And then she sort of scolds him. Yeah? Beklagt sich über das Kennenlernen, möchte das viele das wissen. Are you going to just let the whole world know? Do you want everybody to know that you've been in my bed all night? And he says, oh, nine. So the changes, you really negotiated them all very well. I wonder if you can, gosh, I wish there was a chair on stage. Is there a chair on stage? There we are. Good job. Now, can you turn it sideways? Yeah. And sit in it, sort of facing me halfway and leaning over the back of it. Like, I mean, as close as you can get to like reclining in bed. Yeah. Stick those feet out in front of you. There we go. Now the sun is about to come up. And if you can give us da-dee, Rachel, just a bit. And then you can start the aria, Alex, and with as much laid back sexiness as you can muster. It's almost a murmur. And I want a nice big round ah. Lots of space up there. V, even in the V, the E is very tall, the vowel is very tall. So it's the same space. V du warst. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
While lying down. Good. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, hang on a second. I want you to put the word bist in quotes because with that needs to stand out. Wie du warst, wie du bist.
Okay.
I want you to underline that word for me because, oh, you were so great. Well, you are so great. Yeah? Das. And then when you start the next phrase, piano on that high F sharp. Das weiß niemand. Das ahnt keiner. This whole thing, every phrase has to be reflecting on what you've just been doing for the last 3 hours. He's 17, so it's 3 hours. Okay. Good. Do it. Start again from wie du warst. Actually, Rachel, you're a little too bars. That's good. Good. And that makes you very happy. Keep going. Möchte das I lösen? Okay, I'm going to stop you. Angle 9. And you know how I always say that these gestures don't mean anything except in this moment. Selig bin ich. Because he's in her bed, but he wants to tell the whole world how selig he is. Yeah? So Engel 9. Fling those arms out and give me the nice, beautiful, what is it? A G. Beautiful high G on selig bin ich. Nice tall vowel. So angle 9, start with angle 9 and you're back in your sort of recline. Angle 9, selig.
Okay.
She's going to give you one bar.
Okay.
Good. I wouldn't do a portamento there, but I love the color. Don't slide down. But I love that you got softer on V. That's great. Device, just right there. Good. Now you're very proud, very proud.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. You look sad and confused. Hang on. You look sad and confused. Keiner antes, niemand weiß es als ich. Ich weiß es, ich antes. Yeah? Good. Again, bar 17. Good. Do. More. Good. Okay, good. Now we've gone from the first section into this second section, which is all talky. Now, why does he start doing this? Why does he start saying all of this stuff? What do you think?
All the bus high stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a combination of factors. They're like the hormones are really kicking in, so his sentences are getting shorter. I think he's trying to also keep her attention because she's probably getting bored of him, of all of his like romance.
And also that I like that. That's good. Also, I think that, you know, he's having all these epiphanies.
Yeah.
Was heißt das du? I think he's very serious in this moment. And whenever I've most of the time, I think when I've performed it, it's a complete switch. He's not focused on her anymore because teenagers are narcissistic. Let me tell you, teenagers are narcissistic. So he's gonna go off on his own tangent here for a second. And sometimes I've done productions where the marshal is going, excuse me, hello, I'm still back. He's sort of strutting around the room. Was heißt das du? So when you start this, I want you to walk around the room like a courtroom lawyer.
Okay.
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich hatten das einen Sinn? Das sind Worte, bloße Worte, nicht? Du sag, aber dennoch. He can't even finish a sentence. Yeah? So, give me keine antes, niemand, but no, just start it. Do, because he said it 3 times each in increasing succession. And that makes him think, what a funny word, do. What does it really mean? Let's talk about this for a minute. So when you get to was heißt das du, I want you to get up off that chair and walk around like, you know, pontificating, because what you have to say and what you are discovering about this is the most brilliant thing that people will write down in philosophy books one day. Yeah? Good. So just do. Yeah? Yeah? Good. Let's talk about what all those things are. it's just etwas. I can't put my mouth, I can't really come up with the right word, but it's like a schwindel. What's a schwindel?
Dizziness, like
Yeah, or a ziehen. What's that?
pulling.
Yeah, or a sehnen, a drängen. What are those things?
Longing and like a pressing.
Yeah. Ein schmachten. A schmachten is a
Pain, isn't it?
anguish.
Mhm.
Yeah, pain. Schmachten, anguishing. Und brennen.
Yeah, the burning.
Yes. And then we're changing again. Und brennen. Jetzt meine Hand. Because she's reached out to him to say, dear, slow down. And he goes, your hand. It's a hand. Oh my God, her hand. You know, everything. This is where he's like so impetuous. He's like a kid. He's on his soapbox and he's like, oh my God, your hand is so beautiful. And it's touching me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So, and when you get to wie jetzt meine Hand, when you get after Brennan, sit back down and hold her hand in your hand. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're walking. Was heißt das du? Do that again. That was very good. And I don't even want you to look at her until you say du sag. Was heißt das du? Was du und ich. This is all just for you.
Okay.
Was heißt das du?
Was heißt das du? Was du und ich? Hat denn das einen Sinn? Das sind Worte, bloße Worte, nicht? Du sag, dennoch.
Yeah.
Ist etwas in ihnen, ein Schwingen,
No?
ein Sehen,
What?
Sehen und Ringen,
What?
ein Schmachten und Brennen, wie jetzt meine Hand zu deiner Hand kommt, das zu dir wollen, das dir glauben, das bin ich, das will zu dir.
Shh, shh, shh. Excellent. Now the next bit, in dem du, again, in quotation marks, underline do. I'm losing myself in the you. In dem du. And then you go into, ich bin dein Bub. I'm your boy. I couldn't be happier about it. Aber, what's going to happen when I get old and I can't see or hear anymore? Who's going to be your boy then? And it ends on kind of a sad note. Until, except in the opera where the Marshallin says, don't worry about it. You'll always be my boy. And then they roll around in the bed for another 5 minutes. So that was beautiful. The walk around, the Schmachten und Brennen was fantastic. So wie jetzt, I want you to see that hand in your hand. Look right at it. Meine Hand zu deiner Hand kommt. Right? So I want you to do that transition again. I want you to just start it. Ein Sie and ein Sehnen und Drängen, ein Schmachten und Brennen. Ein Ziehen.
Ein Sehnen und Drängen, ein Schmachten und Brennen, wie jetzt meine Hand zu deiner Hand kommt.
Oh.
Zu dir wollen, das dir glauben.
And here we are.
Das will ich, das will zu dir. Glaube, dass ich vergeht
Du. In dem. Good. Now lie back into it. Lie back. Hang on a second. Now, ich needs to be a tall vowel because it needs to be the most beautiful silvery. I coached this with Krista Ludwig. In my score over this line, she wrote mit sex. So this is a phrase that is mit sex, and it's silvery, and it's a nice tall round ich. Ich bin dein Bub. Okay, good. Oh, gorgeous. Du bist mein Bub, du bist mein Schatz, ich hab dich lieb. That's the end of scene. Yay! Very, very good. Very good, Alex. I'm very proud of the way that you're negotiating all those phrases, and you're giving me the contrast, and your physicality is good. I want the other ladies to see how you sat with your legs apart. Very important. And your feet are out there, and you're just like, it's a lower center of gravity, and it's a kind of, I don't know what to do with myself, but I'm going to do something. And it all works. And I hope to see you sing Octavian one day.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bravo. Very good. Very good.
Oh, thank you so much. That was just fantastic, Susan. And to Rachel, thank you so much.
Oh, Rachel, you're a star.
Yeah, fantastic. Great orchestra there.
Totally.
Yeah, and to the students. I'm actually curious if any of the students in the hall have some questions, since they got to work with you. And if they do, perhaps they would come up and stand close to the microphone where they were singing at center stage. And don't be shy. That was just wonderful. It's so great to hear about the physicality of creating these roles, Susan. It was just wonderful. Now, I have a question from someone on YouTube who says, when you sang at Kerner Hall a few years ago, you sang a very witty song about playing pants rolls that was composed for you. So,
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, please?
It's a song. It's funny. There's a wonderful pianist named Stephen Blyer. Oh God, I'm having a senior moment. Anyway, a wonderful pianist that I was doing some recitals with, and I was having fun doing a lot of Gershwin songs, and very kind of female-oriented Gershwin songs. And I said, well, this is fun. It's fun to kind of be sexy instead of having to be a boy pants roll all the time. Well, his partner, now husband, is a composer, and he wrote this song. Having listened to this conversation, he wrote this song called Sexy Lady. His name is Ben Moore, and he wrote this song called Sexy Lady, which is kind of a vampy kind of cabaret song. And it's about the plight of the mezzo soprano who always sings pants rolls, but just wants to be a sexy lady. And it has hilarious snippets from Voi chi sapete. And it's like the pianist keeps trying to convince the singer that the music is so great that you can't deny the value of Handel or Cherubino or Octavian. There's even a bit of Rosenkavalier that comes in, and it's just like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah, it's a great song. Just fantastic.
It's a very great song.
Yeah, great. And I think it's in our library, if that was the student who asked.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, it's in our
changed the words
library.
a little bit because the words were written just about me, and the operas that I was doing don't apply to everybody. So the words were made a little bit more generic, not like, there's a phrase about being 6 feet tall, and not everybody who thinks that is going to be 6 feet tall. So
Yeah, really. You mentioned the other day about your teacher, Marlena Malas, whom we know so much, of course. Tell us about what are the really pivotal lessons that you've had, and what's your daily vocal routine now?
well, I've studied with her for over 30 years now.
It's great.
I am of the belief that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think I've been regarded as having a pretty healthy vocal technique my whole career, and Marlena was always just the perfect person to get me out of a bad habit that I had gotten, when I was on the road for 6 months trying to just sort of survive, vocal survival. And then I would always check in with her every chance I got, and she would say, "What the hell are you doing?" If you know her, you can hear her saying that.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 lessons with her in the past 3 weeks. I'm studying with her now. I mean, I still study with her. I go there and I learn something, Lorna, every time. I learn something about breathing. And you know how we were talking yesterday about how the pandemic made me forget how to breathe?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my first lessons, I did 2 Zoom lessons with Marlena from LA. I was in LA, she was in New York. And in both of those, she just kept having to remind me how to breathe. And then when I'm with her, in front of her, in her place now here in New York, again, it's all about the breathing. And that's why I enjoy imparting what Marlena teaches me to you guys, all of you guys who have been up there. The thing on the ribs and the belly button, that all comes from Marlena, but it works for me, so I like to pass it on.
And the studying never ends, does it?
Oh my dear Lord, no. The studying never ends. The body never is the same. The body is always changing. The vocal apparatus is always changing, in women and men, as you go, as you age, even from week to week, just no matter what age you are, there's always something to address.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of colleagues who stopped studying when they started having success in careers. I thought, well, they said, I guess I know how to do it now. No, I would never take that for granted.
Yeah. No. And the music changes. So the demands on the body change.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I have a great question here. What is the best approach in doing character study?
Well, a particular character, for instance, if it's a character from literature, of course, you're going to read all you can you're going to find out who that person is. In literature, in history, in mythology, in biblical stories. I'm hearing some sort of scratching on a microphone somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's just some static feedback or something. Anyway, and if it's you have to figure out where that character fits into the opera. What happens in the scenes you're not in that can impact who your character is. It's very funny when you're in an opera and they talk about your character in a scene that you're not in, so you don't know that scene. But they've said something like, about how she's always mopey or something, and then you come on stage and you're like this, and somebody says, we just said in the scene before that you're supposed to be very sad. Oh, thanks for that. It pays to do your homework and learn all you can about how your character fits in with everybody else. And for the rest, imagination goes a very, very long way. Whether you're Leporello or whether you're Marguerite or whoever you are, I want to find out where they came from, what the last 10 years of their life was about, what their psychology is, maybe what kind of family they had. That stuff usually isn't concrete and written down and empirical knowledge, but I like to make it up
Mhm.
for my purposes, just so that I can create a fully formed, because psychology of people in real life and characters is endlessly fascinating to me. I love to observe people and figure out what makes them tick, whether real or fictional.
Mhm.
And so for me, that's part of the joy.
Being the people watcher in the airport and on the subway.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's fascinating.
Hmm. Did you take acting lessons in addition to your vocal training?
I had acting training as an undergraduate in university, but this was a world-class acting teacher, and he did change my life. And one of the tenets that he taught so strongly was making choices, because as y'all have heard me say many times, as singers, we're meant to be creating the text that we're saying spontaneously on the spot. You know, except for Carabino having written Voi che sapete, but he didn't write Non so più. It's all just coming to him in that moment. And Octavian is just thinking of those words to say, ein Schmachten, ein Brennen, ein Schwindeln, all the things that just come to him in that moment. And it's the same in any role, in any character. So the immediate being in the moment and making choices based on who that character is and what he had for breakfast that morning and whether his feet hurt or her feet hurt. You know, all of those choices aren't mine. They're the characters. And once you become so immersed in the character that the way you pick up a glass is the way Octavian picks up a glass, not the way Susan picks up a glass. And for whatever different reason that Octavian has that Susan doesn't have. You know, it's all of that being in the moment. So it's about making choices. And so when this teacher came many, many years later to the Met, and he saw me in Così fan tutte, and he came to my dressing room backstage, and he knocked on the door, and I opened it up, and he said, I saw you making choices. So I thought, okay, I guess I did get that A in your class.
There you go. Yeah, I'd say you deserved it.
Well, thank you. But I've learned so much, Lorna, from great directors that I've worked with. I've learned so much about letting go of self-consciousness and letting go of fear and letting go of being afraid that I'm going to look dumb. I mean, we get paid to look dumb. We get paid to have bizarre noises come out of our mouths in front of 3,000 people. You know, there's nothing normal about what we do. So we have to give up any pretense of self-consciousness or, oh, I can't do that, I'll look silly. Who cares? Who cares? You got to just go for it. Vis-a-vis that story I told you earlier about my masterclass, singing Carabino masterclass.
Yeah, I think people would love to hear that. It's a different.
Well, the nutshell version is when I was at Manhattan School of Music, a very famous mezzo soprano came and did a masterclass for us, and I was singing Non so più, and I was scared, and I stood there in one space with my feet rooted to the floor, and she wasn't going to have that. So guess what she made me do? Take off my shoes. And she made me jump off the stage and run up and down in this recital hall that was packed with students and grab people by the collar and tell them, non so più cosa son, cosa faccio, ora di fuoco rossone di ghiaccio, ogni donna cangiare di colore, ogni donna mi fa palpitare, ogni donna mi fa palpitare, ogni donna mi fa, parlo d'amore vegliando. I mean, and I had to go around acting like a crazy fool in people's faces, people I didn't know. I was new at the school. I was green as an apple. And I thought, I can't do this, but I made myself do it. And it changed my life. Literally changed my life.
Yeah. Well, and in turn, you change other people's. I mean,
One can only hope.
That's the way it goes. Well, here is actually some proof of it. I've seen you at the Met several times and have been thrilled. I heard you sing like Nuit d'été in Ottawa with the National Arts Centre Orchestra and fell in love. three-part message. You were shimmering in a gown of beige, gauzy silk, as luminous as the music of Berlioz you were performing.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, beautiful. So you do change lives. Who else has changed your life, Susan?
Krista Ludwig.
Oh,
I
Everybody's-
idolized her, and then I was fortunate enough to learn Octavian with her, and then we became friends because I sang a lot in Salzburg, and she would come to my recitals and sit in the middle of the fourth row and terrify me. And but always so kind and so supportive. Frederica von Stade has been a great friend and mentor, an idol of mine too. I started out understudying her a lot,
I bet, yeah.
and then I got to go on for her one time as Carabino at the Met, and she told me before she told anybody else that she was going to miss a performance a couple of weeks hence, so that I could call my parents in Texas and have them come up so they could see the show.
Oh, wow. And what a great Carabino she was.
Oh, the best, the
Yeah,
best, the
yeah,
best.
just fantastic.
Talk about vulnerability. You could just look at her face and just weep. And she brought that to every role that she did. She was so good at showing vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
People who have, I mean, Marlena, of course, is the touchstone of who has changed my life.
What about coaches and conductors?
Well, when I was very young, I had the great fortune to learn with James Levine, and he gave us wings and made us better than we thought we could be. That's what I always said about him. His musicality was like nobody else's. And the way that he would just lift you up. He was conducting that Marriage of Figaro when I went on for Flicka. And I'll never forget him sitting there in the pit conducting Voi che sapere, looking at me, throwing me kisses. Talk about giving you confidence.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I think Edo Devart, who was my partner for many years and is a fantastic opera conductor. I always thought that he was one of the best conductors for singers because he had a real affinity for the voice and just loves opera so much. And when you just feel like he's always breathing with you. Conductors who are breathing with you are very important. So
Indeed. What's on your bucket list of rep?
Oh dear. I don't have much of a bucket list anymore.
You've done it.
I mean, I always joke that if Tosca were a fourth lower, I'd sing that.
I bet a lot of sopranos say that too.
I bet you're right. I did a lot of Popea performances in Incoronazione di Popea, and I think I would still like to do Ottavia in that. When people used to ask me what my bucket list was, I always just say I want to keep doing what I'm doing at a high level. That's my bucket list. And opera is lessening. It's becoming a diminishing part of my calendar, and that's okay. That's okay because I've done a lot of opera, and I find that it's pretty tiring at my age.
Exhausting.
It's exhausting, 7-hour rehearsal days, 6 days a week. It's tiring. I prefer recitals and concerts where I can just sort of go in and do a concentrated thing. And then that's not to say that I'm not doing any more opera, because I certainly do still have some on the books that, are coming up in the next couple of years. But I just want to keep singing well. And when I'm not singing well anymore, I want somebody to get the hook and pull me off the stage.
I think it's going to be a while. I hope you're eating your Wheaties.
Oh, dear.
What parting thoughts do you have for these students that you've heard?
My credo, which maybe they'll put on a tombstone one day, is to always say what you mean and mean what you say. There is no extraneous syllable in singing. And if everything has to mean something, every word, every part of every word, even if it's a vocalese, there has to be meaning behind it. Even if it's a roulade in a bel canto aria, there has to be meaning behind it. There has to be some reason. That's why a lot of times I would say to these young singers, why do you think there's a retard written in that bar? Why is there an embellishment on that note? Why does the melody suddenly change direction? Mm-hmm. These are the questions that we have to keep asking ourselves so that we can get beneath the surface of it. I am not interested in somebody who sounds like they're reading the telephone book. I learned my words and I learned my notes, and now I'm going to sing them all in a row for you. That we cannot be satisfied with that. We must find what the heart is saying behind this. And sometimes the truth of a piece isn't even the text. Sometimes it's opposite of what you're saying. How many times have we been in a situation where we're saying, yes, that dress looks great on you. And what we really might think is the opposite. Or, yes, I had a wonderful time. And maybe you didn't. And that happens in characters too. And that happens in literature, and that happens in poetry, and that happens in opera. But to find out all the different shades of all the different truths that are going on in any given moment, in any character, because they're all there. We just have to find them. And sometimes we have to invent them for ourselves. I recorded a song on one of those French CDs. It's about crickets. It's a Bizet song about crickets. Now, I'm not real emotionally invested in crickets, but in order to bring that song across, I had to invent a world or an event or an environment in which the sound of crickets was integral, and that they were important to me. They were important enough to me in my world at that moment that I needed to sing a song about them. I had to make that up, but it worked, and it gave me a joyful reason to sing this song. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to make it up, but I mean it, and I encourage everyone, really. And it's hard to do when you're in a university or an academic setting, because we're so concerned with doing things right and not getting in trouble for doing something wrong. But beyond that, you must engage your imagination. You must dare to envelop and participate in a world that might not be your own world. You must imagine what Leporello is feeling like. You must imagine what Cherubino's going through, or Agno, or any of these characters. You've got to tap your imagination, because we're artists. We're not just repeating something that somebody else did. We're also creating in the moment.
And what do you do for yourself to recharge your batteries, because you're giving a lot all the time? So how do you recharge?
I have a home in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which looks out over the hills, and I go there for quiet, and I go there for nature, and I go there for solitude. And if I have a really hard role to learn or some hard music to learn, I take it there and I sit out on my back deck and I study it while looking at 40 miles of mountains. That's also a fun thing to do on a beach while looking at 40 miles of ocean. Mm-hmm. Nature rejuvenates me. I also, during the pandemic, I started painting. I started doing some watercolor painting. I've always made jewelry.
Oh, fantastic.
I like to keep something creative going. And last year on my birthday, I learned to play the accordion.
Okay.
I'm very bad at it, but my husband makes me practice it when he's not home.
It's all creative. It's all creating.
It is. And I think that, I've been fortunate to have a really wonderful life full of a lot of wonderful love. I have love for my friends and my colleagues. I've had great relationships. I have a wonderful marriage now. I have children, stepchildren, and I feel like all of that informs my art, because if you're thinking about life, it's helpful to have one.
Indeed. Well, you have really enriched our lives this week. It has been wonderful to have you here, to see you and hear you work with our students. So I want to say thank you to you, but I also want to say thank you also to our students, because
Absolutely.
I find that they have taught us so much in the past year about resilience, about, pivoting, about, let's do it, let's keep doing it. So first of all, to our students and to their collaborators, our wonderful pianists. But Susan, it's been just wonderful to hear you teach, to hear your demonstrations, to have you get inside the music and the voice. It's been terrific.
Well,
So
it would have been fun. It would have been fun to be there in person.
it would indeed.
Maybe
But
next time.
that's right. Yeah. So I think with that we shall say good night and thank you again, and take very good care.
I'm very grateful to all the students who made the effort. I know it's not easy, and I stand in awe of your courage and your resilience and your willingness to go along the journey with me. And thank you, Lorna, for everything that you've done putting this all together. It was beautifully organized and beautifully executed, so I appreciate it.
Pleasure. I think Ruby needs you.
Can you hear her? Feed me.
Okay, good night, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.